Mysterious virus outbreak in China, a new nightmare repeated. They say it's just a regular virus, but I've heard that before, in 2019 to be exact. Sounds familiar. A strange virus appears in China. Cases skyrocket. Children are hospitalized in droves. Hospitals are overwhelmed. People are panicking. Health officials are silent. I don't need to explain. You know what I'm talking about. Because we've all lived through it. COVID-19. But this time, the name isn't corona. It's something even stranger. HMPV, human metapneumovirus. It started as a winter cough and turned into a nightmare. At first, it was just a few scattered reports on Chinese social media. Whispers in chat groups, "My child's fever has not gone down for 3 days. There are no beds in the emergency room. The hospital is refusing to accept more children." Then the leaked videos began to appear. Parents were crying, running through hospital corridors with their children in their arms. Exhausted medical staff sat on the floor. Some hospitals in Hebei and Tianjin had to activate emergency measures. State media remained silent, just like that year, before the world was set ablaze by the coronavirus. The name HMPV, it sounded like a technical code, but it instilled fear. I remember the moment I first saw the phrase human metapneumovirus. My blood immediately went cold. Not because I had never heard of it. It was because it had been ignored for so long, as if it were not scary, as if it were no big deal. That was the danger. They say it's not new. But wasn't COVID also called the strange cold? I called a friend, a pediatrician in New York. His voice dropped. "Yeah, HMPV isn't new. But the way it's spreading, the speed at which it attacks, that's what worries us." He said that in the US, HMPV used to be just a name in textbooks, a mild respiratory virus, common in children, that no one paid much attention to. But in the past few weeks, it's been coming back. Strong, silent, and unpredictable. The creepy coincidence. Also from China, also starting in children, remember. SARS-CoV-2 was once thought to be not transmitted from person to person until it crossed borders, got on planes, and killed millions. Now, HMPV is being talked about in the same terms. Don't panic, it's just a cold. Not a new virus. Sound familiar? China is facing another mysterious outbreak, and this time it's children on the front lines. Not the elderly, not people with underlying health conditions. Children. They're collapsing rapidly, coughing, feverish, having difficulty breathing, and in some cases, developing pneumonia within 48 hours. In some northern provinces, hospital admissions are 3 times higher than last year's average. Some have had to turn classrooms into makeshift medical stations. Who is this virus? And how long has it been here? Human metapneumovirus, the name suggests it's no joke. Human, meaning it lives in us. Meta, an advanced mutation. Pneumo, Greek for lung. Virus, the silent invader, the killer without a gunshot. This thing was discovered in 2001, but most countries, including the US, never tested widely to see how far it spread, until it was too late. And here's the question that keeps me up at night. Are we making the same mistake again? We laughed at SARS. We downplayed MERS. We dismissed COVID as a distant China problem, until it hit, and it was too late to turn back. Now, HMPV seems like a winter cold. But what if it mutates? What if it combines with another virus like influenza, ISV, or worse, corona? What then awaits us this winter? I won't be surprised again. And neither should you. The post-COVID lesson is, better to be prepared than sorry. In the next section, I will reveal what American doctors really worrying about HMPV that they haven't dared to say publicly. Why HMPV may have been spreading silently in the US for years. And the scariest thing, is it the final piece of the puzzle for a new supervirus? The dark virus, the once underrated thing, is back, stronger, deeper, and scarier than ever. People call it a common virus. But what happens when a common virus stops behaving like a common virus? I've seen it. Not in the papers. In the hospital emergency room. Last week, I visited a friend, an emergency room doctor in Michigan. He was tired, gaunt, his face marked by the mask from wearing it for 12 hours straight. I joked, another busy flu season. But he didn't laugh. Instead, he stared at me. It's not the flu. It's not RSV. It's not COVID. It's something strange. Severe cough, high fever, chest tightness. rapidly progressing pneumonia. And when we tested it, it came up as HMPV. My spine went cold. The virus isn't new, but the way it attacks is completely different. Human metapneumovirus, HMPV, was once first reported in 2001. For more than 20 years, it was labeled low risk, self-limiting, flu-like. But there's something those early reports didn't make clear. HMPV is as contagious as the flu. It can cause respiratory failure in children. And if you're elderly, have underlying health conditions, or have a weakened immune system, it can kill you. What doctors don't want to say out loud: HMPV is mutating. I spoke with a virologist in Atlanta, and here's what she said, almost in a whisper over the phone. We're seeing it change, not in its genetic makeup, but in its behavior. It's spreading faster, it's going deeper into the lungs, and it's causing more severe symptoms than usual, especially in children between 6 months and 5 years old. I asked, is it a new variant? She paused for a few seconds, then said, we don't dare announce anything yet. But if you want to prepare now. China is where it woke up, but it could have spread everywhere. We know one thing very well: when a virus has spread throughout China, it has spread much further before the numbers are released. Did you know that COVID-19 was spreading silently in Italy, the US, and Spain before the WHO called it a pandemic? And now, HMPV is showing signs of spreading silently in the US. States like New York, Illinois, and California have all seen a sudden spike in childhood pneumonia. A series of cases tested positive for not COVID, not influenza, not RSV. But when we tested deeper, there was that name, HMPV. And then I wondered, why didn't anyone warn us sooner? The answer is terrifying, because we never considered HMPV a threat. It was ranked below dozens of other viruses on the public health priority list. There was no vaccine, no specific treatment, no close monitoring. It was like a shadow virus. It moved silently through the population, struck in the winter, and then disappeared without anyone noticing. But now that darkness was spreading. I saw a video that was secretly shared from China, and I wish I hadn't. In the 2-minute video, secretly filmed from the second floor of a hospital in Tianjin, dozens of children were placed on breathing masks. Some were convulsing, some were lying motionless. A mother screams, "I brought my child here at 5 a.m. Why didn't anyone save him?" A nurse shouts back, "We are out of ventilators. You're late." I had to turn off the video mid-sentence. I'm a father, and I couldn't bear to watch it. HMPV doesn't need to kill in droves to be scary. It just needs to hit the right people at the right time: children, the elderly, cancer, diabetes, heart disease patients, the most vulnerable in society. HMPV is not a silent killer. It's opportunistic. It waits for you to be weak, then it strikes. Lessons from the past: we only act when we have too many victims. COVID-19 was only considered dangerous after thousands of people had died. RSV surged only when children were lining up in the emergency room. And now, HMPV is approaching the tipping point. Is this a precursor to a new supervirus? Sounds like science fiction. No. Scientists have warned. When multiple viruses are circulating in a community, they can recombine. Imagine, HMPV combines with RSV, or influenza, or even a leftover coronavirus variant, creating a super-infectious hybrid virus. That's not just theoretical. It's happened before, and it can happen again. This is not a time for complacency. This is a time for preparation. We shouldn't panic, my doctor friend said. But if you still treat HMPV like a small thing, you're repeating the mistakes of 2020. Inside warning: when a baby starts to be able to breathe. I will never forget the look in the eyes of a Chinese mother in a video that a doctor secretly filmed from inside the hospital. The little girl lay on the bed, her body purple, her eyes rolled back. She couldn't breathe. The air seemed to thicken in the cramped emergency room. A doctor shouted, "Get oxygen in." Her blood pressure is dropping too fast. But the most terrifying moment was when the oxygen machine stopped working because it was overloaded. Coughing sounds echoed throughout the hospital beds. The nurses ran out of masks. They used bandages, handkerchiefs, even glass covers to cover their faces for fear of catching the disease. And then, a resident doctor shouted, unable to keep his composure, "This is no longer a common flu. This is something stronger, more dangerous." A strange virus is hitting the lungs, and it kills children first. HMPV, the silent killer in breath. This is not the first time the HMPV virus has appeared. It caused a small outbreak in the US a few years ago, but this time it has evolved, and no one knows how it has mutated. A report from Guangzhou University, leaked to social media before being removed by the Chinese government, said, "This year's HMPV strain can be transmitted even when the carrier has no symptoms. The incubation period can be up to 12 days. Do you understand what that means? It means you could be infected. You could be infecting your children, your wife, your parents, and you don't even know it," an American doctor who worked at the CDC said in an anonymous interview. If this is a real resurgence of HMPV, a variant that has evolved enough to overcome natural antibodies, then we are in the early stages of a silent pandemic. Reports sleeved out of China, patients developing psychological symptoms. It sounds weird, but this is what makes my hair stand on end. An international volunteer medical team in Kunming secretly sent a report to a medical organization in Switzerland. They said, some HMPV patients not only have cough, fever, difficulty breathing. They also had hallucinations, lost control of their behavior, and had extreme mental symptoms. A nurse described, the middle-aged man suddenly woke up in the middle of the night, screaming in a language we didn't understand, and scratched his neck. He couldn't recognize anyone, and then he stopped breathing. For 3 minutes. The virus didn't just hit the lungs. It could have invaded the brain. And if that's the case, HMPV is no longer a respiratory disease. It's a biological weapon. A chase in the dark, a secret hospital in northern China. We thought things were at their worst in 2020. But no, this virus is more insidious, more silent, and, possibly, more dangerous than anything we've ever seen. That night, an unknown source sent me a video. No sound, no commentary, just black and white footage from a security camera, what looked like a makeshift field hospital in the snowy depths of the northern Heilongjiang province. The frame shook. Someone was running. A doctor. He had a backpack on his back, clutching a coughing little girl to his chest, blood seeping through his tiny mask. Behind them, sirens wailed. And then, I saw it. Not science fiction. Reality. Severe HMPV patients, spilling out into the hallway, stumbling, eyes glazed, wheezing like ghosts. The doctor disappeared into the corner. Then the screen went black. The end. The horrifying question. What are they hiding? We found out that the local government sealed off the entire area, posting fake maintenance signs outside. Residents living nearby were ordered to evacuate within 6 hours. No one was allowed to ask why. Anyone who tried to livestream or post was invited to work that night. According to a former lab technician there, the HMPV virus they encountered had mutated. It's not just spreading faster, it's learning to live longer, to be stronger. And to avoid initial detection, I asked him if there was any connection to secret biological programs. He smiled. A sad, twisted smile. There's no coincidence here, my friend. Again, the world is outseen. The World Health Organization has officially called for transparency about the HMPV outbreak in China. But the government insists, we have it under control. Do you believe it? An international team of scientists was denied visas to assess the ground. Several Western journalists suddenly disappeared while investigating hospitals in Guangdong. The world has been blindsided again. And I'm afraid this is just the beginning. It doesn't kill you right away, but it silently turns your lungs into mud. An anonymous doctor in Shanghai whispered in a midnight phone call. How far do you think it is? A week? A month? You think you are safe just because you don't live there. I thought so too. Until I coughed for the first time the next morning. The hidden truth, I am not the type to believe in conspiracy theories. But as I followed each report, each line of data, each video clip that was taken down from the internet within minutes of being posted, a chill ran down my spine. Why are there hundreds of new cases every day, but only a few short news reports are allowed to air? Why did doctors who warned of the danger suddenly disappear? And why are there buses leaving hospitals at night, carrying patients wearing tight masks, their eyes lost? No one knows where they are being taken. A friend of mine, an infrastructure engineer in a satellite city of Beijing, has said something I will never forget. It's not that the government didn't know how dangerous HMPV was. They knew very well, but they thought if they kept quiet long enough, the world would forget. And I saw it when the epidemic began to spread from China to Thailand, Singapore, and even Los Angeles. The Western media just said it was a common respiratory virus. But I knew. I saw what it was. I knew it wasn't common. A virus that causes the lungs to solidify in just 72 hours. A virus that causes children to have fevers, convulsions, and permanent loss of consciousness. A virus that ventilators can't save because it doesn't just attack the lungs, it attacks the brain. And then, the worst comes true. Epilogue. How much time do we have? I'm recording this podcast from my basement in Dallas. Not because I'm overly anxious, but because yesterday, the CDC confirmed 9 cases of HMPV in Texas, and none of them had a history of international travel. What does that mean? It means the virus is here. It's spreading silently, and you may have come into contact with it at the grocery store, at the movie theater, or even on the handrail of a public elevator. Don't you think it's strange? Every time humanity thinks it has a virus figured out, we get a surprise hit from nature. COVID-19 has brought the world to a standstill. But HMPV could be more dangerous because it doesn't need to kill people in large numbers. It just takes you to lose your mind, to lose your breath, to lose yourself. And in a panic, the scariest thing is not the virus. It's the silence. The silence from the government. The silence from overwhelmed hospitals. And the silence of your loved one's last breath. If you're listening to this, share. Warn your loved ones. Keep your distance. Wear a mask. And if there are any signs, don't wait. Act before it's too late. I don't know what the next few weeks will bring. Maybe I'll be fine. Maybe I won't. But I do know one thing. HMPV is not seasonal flu. It's a wake-up call. And we are running out of time. If you feel your heart pounding as you listen to this story, if you're also confused about what's really happening out there, then hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because here, we will continue to reveal hidden truths, things you won't see on TV or in the newspapers. Stay sane, stay informed, and most importantly, don't miss the next video.